Story 1. Soundless knock. I've always been a light sleeper, the kind of person who wakes up if the fridge hum changes pitch or if the air shifts in the room. It's annoying most nights, but last night it felt like something else entirely. I woke up at exactly 3:04 a.m., not to a sound but to the soft buzz of my phone vibrating on the nightstand. A motion alert from the outdoor camera, the one pointed at my bedroom window. At first, I didn't feel anything unusual. I assumed it was a raccoon again. Happens sometimes. I grabbed the phone, tapped the notification, and froze. There was someone standing right outside my window. A figure, head tilted slightly, almost unnaturally. No movement, no sound, just standing. Their face was partially obscured by the reflection, but I could make out the outline. Shoulders slumped forward, chin dipped low, not blinking, not shifting, completely still. I waited, staring at the screen, expecting them to knock, or move, or do anything that made sense. But the feed was silent. My window, just 5 feet from where I lay, stayed dark, except for the faint orange glow of the streetlight behind them. After a minute, I noticed something weird. The timestamp on the camera feed. It wasn't changing. Still stuck at 3:04. Seconds weren't moving. No ticking clock in the corner, just frozen. I thought the app had crashed. I swiped out, reopened it, but the same frame appeared. Same posture, same tilt of the head, same unblinking presence. I slowly sat up in bed, careful not to make the mattress creak. Then, I risked it. I turned my head toward the actual window. Empty. Completely empty. Just the faint glow of the street, the silhouette of the neighbor's fence, the trimmed hedges. No one was there. I looked back at the phone, still there, same frame, same frozen second in time. I tried refreshing, tried closing the app, reopening, even restarted the phone. But every time when I opened the camera feed, it wasn't the live view. It was that frozen image, that figure, that gaze. At some point, I started thinking, what if the feed wasn't frozen? What if that thing hadn't moved? I grabbed my flashlight from the drawer, walked to the window, slowly pulled the curtain aside. Nothing. No footprints in the mulch, no shadows. But when I glanced back at my phone, something had changed. The figure's head was tilted the other way now. Not much. Just a slight angle shift. But enough that I knew, without a doubt, that the image wasn't static. My chest tightened. I turned the camera toward the front yard. Nothing. Back to the window view. Still that figure. Head tilted differently. Still no blinking. Still no sound. I checked the other cameras around the house. Backyard, garage, driveway. All fine. Normal. Only that one feed was wrong. I don't even remember how long I stood there. Minutes, maybe more. Just staring, waiting for something to happen. Something I could understand. And then, the feed blinked. Not glitched, not refreshed. It blinked. The screen went dark for half a second, just long enough for me to feel the air shift in the room. And when it came back, the window view was empty. Completely back to normal. Timestamp ticking again. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. And when morning came, I went outside. Checked the flower beds, the mulch, the glass. No signs of anyone. No footprints. Nothing. But here's the thing. I checked my camera history. Motion detection at 3:04 a.m. confirmed. Thumbnail saved. But when I tapped it, the file wouldn't open. Corrupted. Blank screen. And now, every night since then, 3:04 a.m., my phone buzzes. No motion, no recording, just the alert. No sound, no knock. If anyone has ever experienced something like this, please let me know. I'm starting to think I shouldn't check the window next time. Story 2. Glass fog I've lived in Tampa for almost 5 years now. If you know anything about Florida heat, you know it doesn't mix well with closed windows. But I lock them every single night. Not because of crime rates or anything rational, just instinct. Last night, it was the same routine. Lock the windows, set the alarm, check the backyard camera, and crawl into bed with the hum of the ceiling fan barely moving the thick air. But when I woke up around 2:17 a.m., something felt heavier. Not the air, something else. It was the window, my bedroom window. From the bed I could see it was fogged up. Not the inside, outside. Full condensation, which made no sense. The air outside had dropped, but not enough for this much fog. I sat up, rubbing my eyes, telling myself it was probably humidity. Florida, after all. Before getting closer, I grabbed my phone and opened the backyard camera feed. Standard habit, expecting to see rain maybe, but the yard was dry. Dead still. No wind, no movement. Just that eerie orange glow from the streetlight spilling over the fence. Then I noticed it. A palm print. Right there on the glass. Huge. Centered. Pressed so firmly that the fingertips left streaks where the moisture had been pushed aside. I felt my chest tighten. Someone had touched it. Recently. I froze. My first thought, maybe it was my own hand earlier. But no, the print was on the outside. I stood up slowly, the floor cool under my feet, and checked the side yard camera. Nothing. The driveway feed. Empty. No movement. No cars, no figures. Still trying to rationalize, I thought, okay, maybe a prank. But who walks into someone's fenced yard in the middle of the night, leaves a single palm print and disappears? No footprints, no shadows, no sound. Just that print. I grabbed a flashlight, walked to the back door, unlocked it, hesitated for a second longer than I should have, then stepped outside. The grass felt damp but cool. I aimed the light toward the bedroom window from outside. The fog was already fading, but the print was still there. As I got closer, I noticed something else. It was high, taller than me. Either someone tall had pressed their hand there, or they had stood on something. I scanned the ground. Nothing out of place. No overturned bins. No ladder. No. Suddenly, the porch light flickered. Once, twice, then steady again. The hair on my arm stood up. I spun around fast, pointing the flashlight toward the side gate. Closed. Latched from the inside. Exactly how I left it. I stood there for a long minute, listening. Nothing, not even crickets. Just that suffocating silence that somehow feels intentional, like the world itself was holding its breath. Finally, I reached out, placed my own hand against the glass. My fingers didn't match the print. Not even close. It was wider, longer. The pressure marks deeper, as if someone had leaned their whole weight into it. I didn't sleep after that. I sat on the couch with all the lights on, refreshing the camera feeds every few seconds. No movement, no return. But the strangest part, at sunrise, when I went back to check the window, the fog was gone, and so was the print. Completely, not even a smudge, like it had never been there. I haven't told anyone yet. Honestly, I don't even know how to explain it without sounding paranoid. But if anyone else has ever seen something like this, please tell me. Am I losing my mind? Or is someone out there watching? Story 3. Motion detected, bedroom window. I'm not exactly the paranoid type. In fact, that's kind of why I started coding my own security app in the first place. I wanted something smarter, less intrusive. An algorithm that only triggers when movement lasts longer than 10 seconds. No false alarms from swaying branches or passing headlights. Just real threats. Or so I thought. It was last Tuesday, around 11:37 p.m. when I got the notification. Just one line. Motion detected, bedroom window. At first I almost ignored it. That window faces my backyard, 6 feet off the ground, no sidewalk, no street access. But something felt off. I opened the live feed. The screen showed the usual, the frame of my window, part of the fence behind it. But there was movement. Slow, deliberate. A figure, someone in a dark hoodie, leaning in, their head tilted slightly, like they were listening or looking. My first instinct was disbelief. Who the hell climbs my backyard fence at midnight? I scrubbed back the footage looking for how they got there. But the motion capture only started when they were already at the window. No approach. No footsteps. Nothing. I hit rewind again, pausing right before they leaned in. This time I tried frame by frame. But every time their head started to turn, just before I could make out a face, the screen pixelated. Not a full glitch. Just that spot. Their face. I checked my code, thinking maybe it was a rendering issue. Unlikely. The feed had never glitched before. Not once. And curiously, only the part around the person's face became garbled, like the data itself refused to process it. By then, my hands were shaking. I toggled the other cameras, front door, driveway, kitchen, but every feed looked perfectly normal. Dead quiet, empty. The motion was isolated to that window. Just them. I rewound again. This time, I noticed something worse. Right before the distortion starts, split seconds before the reflection in the glass, it doesn't line up. The figure leans left, but the reflection lags behind, or doesn't move at all. I stared at the timestamp. The person stood there, motionless except for that subtle lean for 12 full seconds. Then, as suddenly as they appeared, they stepped back, out of frame. I waited for the motion capture to pick up their retreat. Nothing. No footsteps, no shadow. Just gone. I rushed to the bedroom, half expecting to see someone still outside. But when I looked, the backyard was empty, grass undisturbed, the window locked, no footprints on the dirt under the frame, not even smudges on the glass. Back at my desk, I tried enhancing the footage, zoomed in, ran filters, but every tool reacted the same way. The face area refused to render properly. It wasn't blurred like low resolution. It was fragmented, like missing data, like someone erased it or never recorded it to begin with. I even checked the raw data logs. The file size for that clip was smaller than it should have been, as if the information wasn't just corrupted, it was never there. The worst part, the motion detection history. The log showed 3 previous pings for the same window, same duration, same time of night, but no notifications were ever sent. No footage saved, until this one. I can't explain how that's possible. I built this system. It doesn't skip, it doesn't miss, unless something else told it to. It's been 4 nights since then. Every evening I sit at my desk with the feed open, watching that window, waiting. If anyone else has dealt with something like this, if you've ever seen a face that won't record, please tell me. What am I supposed to do? Story 4. Static. Silence. I don't really know how to explain this without sounding off, but it happened. And ever since, I can't look at that window the same way. I live in a small townhouse complex near Milwaukee. It's a quiet area. Families, retirees, a few college kids. My unit faces the communal walkway. Not many people pass by at night. Actually, it's kind of rare. After sunset, it's just silence. Familiar, comforting silence. Last night started like any other. I was on my couch, scrolling mindlessly through my phone, half watching some cooking show. The only sound was the hum of my fridge and the occasional car passing far off. At some point, I glanced at my security screen, the one that shows a live feed from the small camera mounted just outside my window. That's when I saw it. There was someone standing there, inches from the glass, perfectly still. It took a second for my brain to catch up. I froze, staring. No movement, no shifting weight. Just a figure. Tall, dark clothing. Face obscured by the glare from the walkway light behind them. My stomach dropped. But here's the thing. There hadn't been any sound. None. No footsteps. No gravel crunching. Just nothing. Then, the screen glitched. A sharp burst of static, white lines, loud hissing for maybe half a second. And then, silence again. When the feed cleared, the person was gone. I jumped up, heart pounding, and ran to the window. Nothing. Just the empty walkway. I even opened the door and stepped outside, half expecting to hear retreating footsteps or something. But the air was still. Not even wind. Just that heavy, unnatural quiet. I went back in, rewound the camera feed. It recorded the static. But not the person, no figure, no shape, just the walkway, and then the burst of static, then back to normal, like they were never there. I asked my neighbors this morning, 3 of them whose windows also face the walkway. Nobody saw anything. Nobody heard anything. One of them even joked, maybe it was a glitch in your brain, not the camera. I laughed, but it didn't feel funny. Here's the part that keeps gnawing at me. Right after the static, the camera clock jumped back exactly 7 seconds. Just rewound itself. I didn't notice it right away. Only when I checked the timestamps this morning. It's been over 24 hours now. I keep checking the window, expecting, I don't know. What? The walkway looks the same. Empty. Quiet. But it feels different now. Off. Like the silence is heavier. Too perfect. I haven't slept. Every time I close my eyes, I see that silhouette. Still. Watching. Waiting for something. If anyone's ever experienced something like this, static, missing footage, someone, or something, standing just beyond the glass, please tell me. Because right now, I don't know if I'm being paranoid, or if this isn't over. Story 5. He didn't move. I don't really know how to start this, but I guess the simplest way is this. I work as a delivery driver, night shifts mostly, which means I'm rarely home before midnight. I've gotten used to a certain routine. Kill the engine, grab my stuff, glance at the cameras mounted outside before walking in. It's just safer that way. You never really know. Last night felt no different at first. Same empty streets, same flickering streetlight 2 houses down. But when I pulled into my driveway, the motion alert pinged on my phone before I even killed the engine. I glanced down. The front camera. There was someone there. He was standing with his back to the window, perfectly still, arms stiff at his sides, head tilted slightly forward like he was looking down at his shoes, or maybe listening. I couldn't tell. For a few seconds I just stared at the screen, waiting for him to turn around, waiting for something. He didn't. He didn't move. At all. I locked the doors immediately, double-checked them even though the sound of the locks clicking felt way too loud. I kept watching the feed. 10 minutes passed, then 15. Not a twitch. Not even the rise and fall of breathing, though the camera isn't the best quality at night. Just stillness. I thought about calling someone, but what would I even say? Hey, there's a guy standing outside my window, not doing anything. It felt stupid, and yet every part of me was screaming, don't go inside. I tried rationalizing it. Maybe it was someone drunk, maybe a neighbor's kid pulling a prank. But there was something off. Something about the way he stood. No shift of weight, no fidgeting, just frozen, like a cutout. I stayed in my car longer than I care to admit, watching, waiting. Every few seconds, I glanced away from the phone to check my mirrors, expecting to see him suddenly at the driver's side door. But no. He stayed exactly where he was. Eventually, stupidly, I convinced myself to make a run for it. My house has a side entrance. If I was quick, I could slip in without passing the front window. So I did. Keys ready, backpack clutched. To my chest, sprinted up the side path, nearly tripped over the damn garden hose, shoved the key in, door stuck for half a second that felt like a year, and slammed it shut behind me. I didn't look at the front window. Not once. Once inside, I killed all the lights and crept to the hallway where the monitor is mounted. He was still there. Same position. Back to the glass. But now, it felt like he knew I was inside. Like he was waiting. I watched for another 20 minutes. Then, just like that, he was gone. No footsteps, no turning. One frame he was there. The next, nothing but the reflection of the streetlight on the glass. I didn't sleep last night. I couldn't. Every creak of the floorboards felt amplified. I kept checking the monitors until dawn. But here's the part that's making me write this. This morning, when I finally worked up the nerve to check, there were fingerprints on the glass, dozens of them, small, greasy smears where hands had been pressed, fingertips overlapping in chaotic patterns, like someone had been feeling along the surface for something. I wiped them clean, told myself it was condensation, dirt, anything. But the next morning, more fingerprints. Every day now. If anyone else has ever dealt with something like this, please tell me. What am I supposed to do?